Personality traits. There are lots of models out there. The Myers-Briggs is the most popular one, well known, and I'm going to be referencing to DISC, D-I-S-C. And it's important, or it's helpful, to know a person's, or to realize a person's personality traits. However, it's more important, once you understand a trait, on how to communicate to them, how to influence them, and persuade them. So I'm going to share with you one tip on how to work with what some people may consider as difficult clients or difficult people, dominant, a driver, someone who's very direct. And I'll give you one language pattern to work with them. And then some other key elements that you need to know and understand. And as I say, it's important to understand why a person has a certain personality trait so that you're not shocked when they respond or react in a certain way. You just say, okay, this person is dominant, or this person is cautious. That's why they're asking me all these questions. And once you understand that and know how to talk their language, you can then have a conversation that is very compelling. You can influence them, persuade them to see things differently, to take action if it's appropriate. If it's selling, and my program on conversational selling is to have great conversations, not to try to force them to do something. Or if you're recruiting, if you're building a team, in conversational recruiting, all of this comes into play as well. And I'm going to be referencing the DISC model. D-I-S-C. D stands for dominant, direct, or demanding. Usually could be a CEO of a company or owner of a business. They're used to being direct and being in control. And not always a CEO or a business owner. Some people just have that personality trait. And so that's the D, the dominant. And I'm going to give you a technique on how to work with them, a language pattern. But there's more than just languaging. It's also understanding 6 or 7 other core elements that can help you then have great, compelling conversation with a dominant, a D person. The I is for inspiring, someone that's outgoing. The S is for someone that's steady or stable. They're very caring and nurturing. And then C is for conscientious or cautious. And I'm just going to cover one tip on this and give you a language pattern that will help you with a dominant person. And a dominant person doesn't always have to be aggressive or loud. Sometimes it could be soft and dominant. And so let's say you want to influence them to accept your idea. And it could be listing a home at 1.2 million. And so instead of saying, based on my research, we need to list your home at 1.2 million, they may say, no, I think it should be 1.5 or 1.75, or they may argue with you because they know everything. That's part of the magic of this language pattern. So instead of saying your home should be listed, you then use this language pattern. And it is based on leveraging their ego. And the language pattern is, you probably already know this. In order to sell your home at this time frame, with this amount of time that you want to sell it, it needs to be listed at 1.2 million. So you probably already know this. That's feeding into their ego. They're less likely to challenge. You go, yeah, I know everything. Yeah, I know that. I know that. So it's very subtle, however, very effective. It's using their energy and their natural tendency to respond in a certain way to have them see things differently and accept what you're saying. Another example would be, you probably already know this. We're going to need to declutter your home and stage it in order to get the top dollar for your home. So you probably already know this again. This is in case you're concerned that they're going to challenge you on staging the home or challenge you on the listing price. So those are examples on how to use, you probably already know this, to a dominant person that has that tendency to express that they know everything, or they challenge you, or they will act in a certain way that is very demanding and direct. So just use that energy and then redirect it towards them so that it just neutralizes it. The I is inspirational, kind of outgoing. They have certain behavioral traits. They like people, they like acknowledgement. I'm not going to go into language patterns on that. I'm going to go into other elements that you want to be aware of. The S is for stability or stable, steadiness, very nurturing people. Once you identify their behavioral traits, you know what language patterns you can start to use, and also questions you can ask and engagement and presenting information to them that they can embrace instead of feel like this is not for me. You want to make it sound and get them to feel that this is a good decision for me. And this is where you don't want to present the way you think they need to hear it. You want to present information the way they need to experience it and hear it. And so the next is the C for cautious or conscientious. And they're very protective. As you identify that, you know, okay, I need to make these families or this family or these people feel protective and safe. And so what can I say? What can I do? So those are just some core things. The other elements you want to be aware of that are also influential in having conversations that are influential with all of these different categories is someone towards or away. And I'm just going to just highlight them. I'm not going to go into detail. They're in the program if you want to really study and master these and have fluid, natural, compelling, magnetic conversations with people. And you want to understand their personality styles and how to use that in a way of having conversations that, as I mentioned, are compelling. So towards or away is where somebody may be subconsciously motivational driver would be to go towards and achieve something or to away to avoid pain. They'll say it in the words or language. You can ask questions, you can pick it up. And once you do that, you then add that into your conversation of the action you want them to take. Something else, the third one that I want to touch on, well, the behavioral traits is the key one. And then towards and away. And then the next would be, are they a bottom line person or the procedural person? And procedural doesn't mean that they're analytical. Procedural just means they need to have a certain structure and you need to present it to them. Because if you present too much structure to a bottom line person, you will lose them. They will just feel overwhelmed. And if you don't present information in a certain structure to a procedural person, they will feel lost and out of control. Something else that's important is, are they an introvert or an extrovert? Because that will help you identify how you want to have conversations with them about how they feel inside because they're an introvert, or how others will see them as if they're an extrovert. And that also ties in line with, are they internal or external? Because some people will make decisions based on their feelings, how they're internally feeling it. External would be also how they make decisions based on social proof or testimonials. And as you identify that, you can blend that into your conversation. The other would be, are they visual? Do they need to see pictures? And this is only if they're extreme. This is not as important, but it's important to understand if they're an extreme visual person, and there's ways of identifying that. Or are they very auditory or sensitive to sounds? Or kinesthetic, which is sensitive to feelings. And as you identify them, if they're extreme, then you can have conversations that you can just blend in, sprinkle in certain words so that they get a sense that you really understand me, or they see the presentation and the message with clarity. The next thing is just your voice. And there's other elements in regards to connecting with people and creating this rapport. I just want you to be aware that your voice will also impact this. If you're working with a dominant person, they have a certain voice pattern, and you want to be aware of that. Usually it's kind of strong, maybe loud, maybe not. However, once you identify their voice and their voice pattern, then you want to be able to be flexible with your voice pattern and the way you're presenting information with your voice. And it's not changing you, it's just enhancing and having conversations the way you would normally do with people that you know. Because if you were going to be talking to, say, a little 2-year-old, you wouldn't talk loud, or you wouldn't yell at them or say certain words, you would kneel down and talk in their language or talk in their tone. You would connect with them. And so, same thing, you need to be flexible with everybody in the DISC, with your voice, the words you use, your gestures, your motions, and how do you position yourself in the beginning, the way you frame yourself, so that you're presenting it and you're projecting a certain warmth and confidence, and that you're an industry leader, not a salesperson. And as all those elements come into play, you will have magical, magnetic conversations. Instead of sales presentations that can burn you out, you'll have them thinking about possibilities and enjoying the conversations and have them take action. That's what this program is all about. It's giving you those tools, enhancing what you already do and know, and using it to be more flexible with different personalities, traits or personality styles. So I wish you great success. Thank you for watching and listening. Bye now.